everybody! Oh, what's with the dirt face?
It's just my face. Fuck you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, that was harsh. We're back! We're back doing a live show and stuff.
Hi, Razul. First time
Hi.
chatting. Hello, hello. Hi, YouTubers and Twitchers alike. It's good to see you guys. Our hiatus was needed, but also too long at the same time.
Hey, it was not needed. It was.
What do you mean?
You love this. This is the best.
I
This
do
isn't
love this.
stressful
No,
at all.
this I love. I needed to just break away from work for a hot minute. So thank you guys for understanding and for showing up on a Friday. It's our first time to do our show on a Friday. So
Yeah, it really is. I honored the occasion by wearing the Picard. We have the Picard grey undershirt and the Picard fancy velvet jacket.
holy moly, Captain.
This is some nice stuff. It's actually so comfortable.
I'm wearing my Rose Apothecary shirt from a different show entirely called Schitt's Creek. That is not this podcast.
We actually do not like apothecaries. We have a sick bay, and that is all that we require. Unless you get poisoned by berries, and then apparently the sick bay isn't good enough.
What?
Did you watch the episode with me?
No. Do you remember that one time I was watching the wrong episode?
Oh, it was like, how are you at the opening credits already? And
so
nothing on screen was making sense. That was amazing.
For those of you who are following us on Twitch and you're used to seeing Recotopia with Jeremy and Chris, that show is every Tuesdays. We also do this podcast recording with a live audience, and this one is Captain's Pod, which is a companion piece to Star Trek. So that's Ian Whittington. I'm Danae Hughes, and we're both writers and staff members for CinemaSins. So we're very involved in the creation of all the content that hopefully you guys enjoy every week. And we've just moved our recording date from usually it was on Mondays. Now we're on Fridays, and that will be our consistent schedule going forward. And then I think, don't you post like what we're actually watching on Discord beforehand?
Yes.
So people can, okay.
So on Discord and Twitter, I've been putting out the episode that we'll be reviewing, so you can watch it ahead of time. It's pretty obvious when we're doing the Insta sins and stuff, but we do have a bit of a theme that has been guessed correctly by one person in the Discord. I shall not say who, but it has been.
Oh, it's pretty obvious.
Correctly.
Just keep bragging about it.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. But yeah, there is a theme to the next few episodes.
Hi, Rando. It's good to have you. And then I like this one from Sarah who says, "Holy cow, they're talking right now." Yes, we're right definitely live right now.
Right now, it's happening. Yeah.
And I think some people are having some internet connections, but hi, hello.
Oh no. Also, where from? Do you mean we're from here? Or we're from America? Because Danae is somewhere in the Ozarkian
I'm in
desert
the Midwest.
Missouri,
yeah.
Ish. And I'm from England.
No, they want to know where the jacket's from.
Oh, okay. I made the pun and I was wrong. So the jacket is from a seller on eBay that had like a store that did like Star Trek uniforms and whatnot. I don't know if they're still around because I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
But, how many times have you washed it?
I mean, we don't need to ask every question. Not every question needs to be answered. It has been washed.
Mm-hmm. Hello, from Fairbanks. We have so many people that are chatting for the very first time. Thank you guys for saying hi. And we also had a question earlier from somebody, but I'm not sure if it's a positive question or a negative question.
Okay.
So I didn't allow the message. It was auto-modded. So Dom Klain, if you're still in the chat and you're like, you actually have a question for us and, it's not super rude in nature, try to ask it again. And maybe the mod won't catch it. We'll see.
Okay. I'm both intrigued and horrified.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Shall we...
Have you done a video on Food Fight, the movie? I don't know if we did that one or not.
I don't even know if I've heard of that movie. I'm going to give it a Google.
I don't think so. I'm
No,
not sure
we
if we have.
haven't.
While Ian is looking that up, I want to let you guys know the layout of our show for Captain's Pod. So what we do is we come on, we say hi to you, and then we start our official recording. So when we officially begin recording the podcast, we can't interact with chat as much because obviously then we would have to edit that out of the podcast. So if you've ever heard the Captain's Pod podcast, you know, it's not designed to listen like it's a live show. So what we do is we talk to each other about what we just watched, and I will sometimes pop up your comments visually, but we don't respond to them right away. If we see a question or a comment or something that we want to play into, we will pin it for later, and then as soon as our official recording ends, we'll come back to you guys in the live chat, hang out for a little bit, and just have some good times here on Twitch and YouTube. So again, for those of you who are on YouTube, you are welcome to stay there. But if you do have a Twitch account, most of the interactive audience is hanging out on Twitch. And that's kind of a place that we're trying to get into. And, you know, we'll continue to add more to our schedule as time goes on. But
yes, we shall.
So I saw that knife fight. Knife was here's the perfect example. Can we all be like Knife Fight Elmo, please?
Or just be however you want. You can,
No.
You must join the club. The club.
Okay, I'm gonna pin your question, Jagged, and we'll get to that maybe after the show.
Yes, we'll have a big question and answer session at the end of the show.
Okay, I gotta change this. So we watched today Star Trek.
Oh, are you doing the bulletin?
TNG. Season 3.
You've got the show, the sub-series right. You got the season right.
Episode 4.
You got the series
called
wrong, I think. No, it's series 4, episode 3.
Fuck.
Jeez, damn it.
God. Yeah. Also, we curse. So if you're offended by that,
there is a lot of fucking cursing. Yeah. So Food Fight, we definitely haven't seen, and that has an insane cast. That has Charlie Sheen, Eva Longoria, Hilary Duff, Christopher Lloyd, and Wayne Brady. I have never even heard of this movie. The animation looks terrible, but it looks super sin-worthy.
I am watching on YouTube, but commenting on Twitch because Twitch videos freeze. Oh, interesting. Okay, you can also be like Jagged and be bi-watchual.
Hybrid watching. Yeah, that's the one.
By
do that.
Something you guys will do.
You'll work it out. Yeah.
Also, Frat Creek, I love that you're trying the exclamation point. Let me tell you something.
We really need to update that, don't we?
I am.
That's amazing.
Essentially flying by the seat of my pants. We are not professional streamers. We will get better as time goes on. But you can do exclamation point, I think ding. I think maybe that one sends us. I know exclamation point fuck. I think that one adds up how many times we've cussed. There's several of them that we added.
Isn't there was a counter for every time I grumbled, wasn't there?
I really need to look at. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, look it up. That's
fine.
Look it up. Oh,
since we haven't really started the show yet.
The vamping is happening. Are you literally the only one on YouTube? That's amazing. That's
Nick.
so good.
Oh,
YouTube,
Nick.
population 1. This guy.
Okay, so we have exclamation point Danae for how to find me on Twitch, because I also stream. I'm probably going to be streaming sometime soon because I just got back from 3 weeks abroad and I'm itching to play my video game that I like to play.
Yeah, do it.
We have...
Yeah, you got to bring Babs back.
Yeah, Babs is coming back. Exclamation point ding, you have been sinned. Exclamation point fork, but that one's not used very much. This is for when Aaron has said like a pretend curse word.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have exclamation point grumble. That's right.
Grumble. Amazing.
So
That's
when
still
Ian
going.
complains, I don't have an exclamation point slab. I do on my channel, but not here on the Sins channel.
Oh, we have a nice little ding emoji as well.
There is exclamation point hydrate, which says water is. I don't remember making. I don't remember
That's the
making this
best.
one, but it says water is dumb. Okay, fine. We might remember to drink water, maybe.
That's the best. Super on brand.
Exclamation point. Ian is he doesn't stream, but he's on Twitter with how to reach for
Nice.
Ian. Here's a good question from Hodge. Let's answer this one right away. It's weird that your Twitch isn't popular. Are you imposters? Are you the real CinemaSins? That's funny. I love the idea that we could be imposters. It would
no one's found us out.
Yeah. You don't have to believe us, but we are real. Okay, that's it. That's it. Was that dramatic enough? Exclamation point. Jeremy is Jeremy's Twitter. And then when he was playing the cat game,
Stray.
What was that? Stray, yes. We had an exclamation point meow for how many times Jeremy was meowing while he was watching.
He was meowing a lot. It was really funny.
And then there was when we played Mario Kart, we did exclamation point purple shell, and because the chat was trolling us, and the one on that one is it's a fucking blue shell. Aaron is a troll because Aaron was
such a troll. Him and his colors. Gosh dang it.
But to seriously answer your question, Hodgepodge, we are the real CinemaSins. You can catch Jeremy and Chris's podcast recording on Tuesdays. It's also in our VODs. You can see them in the VODs. Ian and I have been taking a break because I've been traveling, so you can't see our VODs because they only are up on this channel for like 2 weeks or something really short. Which reminds me, guys, we would love for you to clip stuff. The more you clip, the more people can see. Also, we just started on Twitch, so we're very, very new, and we're not really advertising in a bunch because we're still trying to figure our shit out, honestly. But the goal is to have Chris start. He's going to start gaming soon. Well, he already is games, but helping him to figure out the streaming part. Jeremy has already streamed once, and that went pretty well, but there was a couple of hiccups. So we've got to figure that out. And then we have been producing 3 videos a week for the past month or so.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
If you've been over on our YouTube channel, you might notice that we are doing a 10-year recin anniversary series. So every weekend we've been re-releasing a video that we've already sinned kind of as a way to like see it again. So we've kind of taken a stab at that. And so we've been writing a lot. And then there's been like getting ahead for the holidays and stuff. So our desire to be on Twitch and play games and have fun and do like little shows and stuff is high, but our bandwidth has also been really high. So it's just been hard for us to be on Twitch. So yes, it is the CinemaSins team. Not a lot of people know, but there are 7 staff members that write all of the material and produce the material. And then we have editors that help as well. I mean, it's a big production. We produce a lot of content for you guys. So there's quite a team, and Jeremy and Chris are the most obviously well known because they started the channel, and their podcast again is on Monday. So if you want to catch that live, you can catch them live. Actually, it's on Tuesday. Sorry, and I think
Tuesday, and this week is Wednesday.
Tuesday,
I think.
Yeah, this Tuesday they're actually so this coming week they're actually going to be on Wednesday. I love that Hodgepodge just did this. Thank you.
We all need that definition every now and again. Yeah.
Just as a reminder, this is where we are. Thank you, Hodgepodge.
This is Twitch.
JCD, gonna do my best to clip and the like, but gotta make sure I can do stuff. Yeah, listen, you should just, keep your job.
Look, you either care or you don't, JCD. And if you don't clip, it means you don't care. And that's fine. That's understood. We get it. That's okay.
It did help. It did help, Hodge. Thank you.
Yes.
We have a lot of growing to do.
We do. Should we talk about some Star Trek?
Yeah, I think we're through all the questions. So once again, we're going to do our live show, and this will run along the bottom. If anybody else hops into chat and wants to know why we're not talking to them, if you guys could help out and let them know, we'll be back into the comments soon. But yes, I am recording and ready.
Let's do it. Right. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Ambassador, what would you like from the replicator?
Well, I don't want that berry.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to replicate.
What was the berry
Mhm.
called again? I don't want the deadly berry that almost killed a child.
Yeah, it was like a gloopaloop berry, and it, like, just you get pissed off and you immediately run away and start eating berries. That's just what happens.
God damn it, Willie Potts.
Damn
Don't
it,
eat
Willie
stuff
Potts.
out of the woods.
This is what happens when you get named after Will Riker. You just eat random shit in the woods. Right. Okay. This week we are covering season 4, episode 3 of Star Trek The Next Generation. And as Data hijacks the USS Enterprise, much to the chagrin of Captain Picard and the rest of his crew, Willie Potts is put in danger as he has consumed a life-threatening berry. What is Data doing by kidnapping the ship? Where is he taking it? What is this strange planet, and who is the old man that has summoned him? And will the child survive? Immediate thoughts and feelings, Ambassador, on this today. Considering how much you hated last week's episode, I was trepidatious about continuing the lore episodes. But what did you think?
Okay. I was very nervous going into this, obviously, because you also told me something very important. This is like one of your most favorite episodes. Is that right?
This has my most favorite opening to an episode other than Cause and Effect. This has like the opening 10 minutes to this is freaking so good.
Yeah, I can see why. So, first of all, overall thoughts and feelings. I really enjoyed this episode.
Yes. Yay! Woo! You're
is
allowed to dislike things, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I feel I'm bummed at the beginning of the lore story because last week's episode where we covered like the first time we see lore, if you listen to the episode, as I'm sure you have, I didn't like it. I was very frustrated. I thought that the writers just shrugged their shoulders about some very important things, like letting a brand new android that you just put together have any control of your ship whatsoever. But then here on this episode, we also have to ask the question why we have Data having any kind of power at all.
It's so fucking OP.
He just completely takes over the Enterprise. And I don't remember having ever seen this episode, but, you know, Data's scary. I've been scared of
he
Data.
is. This proves that he's scary. He should not be allowed on any ship.
What was the name of the episode where they went into the holodeck and Data gets glitched out? And it was Worf and his son.
A Fistful of Datas.
Okay. Yeah. That's the first time I remember being really scared of Data, and rightfully so.
Because he just like snaps Worf's wrist and shoots Deanna.
He's terrifying.
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a terrifying android when they need him to be. And then, you know, Lore comes along and you get to see this particular side of Data that could be, and that's scary. But then this one is another one, just it's not Lore and it's not a computer glitch. It's his programming, and he could have killed everybody. It wasn't just
100%. Everyone.
It's not just little Willie Potts. And what a name, by the way, Willie Potts.
It's a great name.
It wasn't just about him. It's like he literally almost murdered the entire bridge because he changed how the settings were or whatever. So this episode did a really good thing of putting you on edge with characters that you love. Because I hope people love Data as much as I do, but
I think everyone does. He's universally loved.
And it was a shocking thing to see him, you know, taking over the bridge, taking over the Enterprise, doing whatever he wants. No one can stop him. But I feel like in doing this, the show has created a bit of a monster, and I don't know if they ever address his power, because at the ending of this episode, it really didn't seem like anyone was addressing the real issue of this episode, which is one being having the ability to do all that. And what measures does this crew take to make sure that nothing like that happens again? They just kind of move on.
Hopefully a lot more. Riker's just like, we'll talk about it later, Data. And that, I think we're supposed to assume that, it's not really his fault, but some precautions need to be put in place 100%. But that is all about the sinning. For me, I love this episode. I love it so much. It's not just like the action-packed opening. It's the philosophical stuff you get with Dr. Sung as well. Like he's really well written in this. Like Data's question of like, why do I exist? Why did you make me? The way that he answers that is so good. He like lets Data logic through it, and it's almost like it's as much as like he's testing Data's responses as well. Like, can this thing that I created comprehend the philosophical stuff that I'm talking about, and can he logic his way into the answer? It's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for lore. I think he's much better in this episode. I think he's a lot scarier. He's like unhinged, especially when he gets like the chip he's not supposed to get. He's super scary, and I really want to see the episode where the Pack-Leds pick him up, because for context, the Pack-Leds are pretty stupid. They accidentally themselves into space travel, and they just steal technology from everybody and kind of blackmail people into making them ships. So they just stumble across this super android, and I really want to see the episode where Lore takes control of that ship and just subjugates the Pack-Leds. But yeah, I think there's way more development in this episode. I love it so much.
Yeah. I just thought of a sin. I'm gonna write it down real quick.
Oh, do it. I think Brent Spiner is doing incredible work in this episode. Like, he's playing 3 characters in the same scene interacting with each other.
Yeah.
Through a ton of prosthetics. Like, how much time did he have to spend in prosthetics for this
Not
episode?
enough, but I'll get to that on my sins.
Oh, it's 1991. It's fine. But yeah, it's
somewhat fine. It's somewhat fine.
They went over the top. It's way more subtle. Like if you compare it to Old Anson Mount, when in the finale of Lower Decks, then yeah, it's nowhere near as good as that. But yes,
I also thought that this episode did a good job, like you said, in bringing Lore back, because there was this like lingering, oh, he's just floating in space somewhere, and of course he's going to come back. And so to bring him back and to have another Data Lore interaction, and to do another like, is it Lore, is it Data moment where Dr. Sung is putting this emotion chip in, and
so good.
You know, we the viewer aren't entirely sure what to expect. So it had suspense. It had some loose strings kind of tied up a little bit too. It introduced, the Dr. Sung, which is interesting because, we've gone through all the episodes of Picard in our first season of this podcast. And Dr. Sung is obviously in that as well. And
or it's an ancestor. No, sorry, a descendant.
A descendant.
Sung. Yeah, it's
Eric. Yes.
So it's like his grand. It's his. I think that's his son. It's his biological son.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's his biological son is in Picard. Yeah.
So I feel like we're obviously watching some of this out of order. And so I'm also like, oh, this is interesting to see this character that's been talked about in all of these different ways. So it's a little confusing because I want to dig into some timeline, but I'm not going to, I don't know, maybe we'll do that on the show. I have no idea. Dr. Sung made these things, and then they died, and some other people did some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He hid away.
Who's first?
I think
who's second? Picard.
He's one of the most interesting characters in like Star Trek lore, and I think he's appeared in pretty much every series, because the prequel series Enterprise has Sung's great grandfather that's doing like stuff with eugenics and altered humans and stuff. And yeah, he's so much fun. He's so good. So I mean, there's so much great about this episode, but I think the music in particular, the score is so good. Like, so it's super panicky when Data is like taking over the ship. You disagree?
Well, as it should be.
Well, yeah. But when he's doing like the force field cascade thing, it's so like spooky and dramatic. I love it.
I felt like it was there's a difference between this one and the last one as well. Like maybe they listened to some feedback. I like to believe that when the first one came out, when Lore is revealed, Yeah,
Bum
they're
bum
like, that was
bum.
a little over the top,
Yeah.
guys. And then they kind of like pulled back a little because you're right. This one was a lot better.
Yeah. No, I love it. That sets me on edge, and the it's one of the, for some reason it's one of these memories that sticks in my head. It's Data doing that super long password when he's locking out the
I love that
computer,
part.
because I'm sure I have this memory where the first time I watched it, I had this question in my head of, I wonder what would happen if they asked Data to create a password, and he does, and it's just like it's so screwed. Like, this is the worst case scenario. If Data wanted to screw everybody, he absolutely
and
could,
he
and he
does.
does,
Yeah.
and it's so good.
It's kind of like the writers address that question.
Yeah.
What's the quote unquote one of the worst case scenarios of having a android in a position of power and authority on a starship? And this episode kind of goes into that while also developing his character, which was really nice. And he got robbed. He was about to have this emotion chip, and now he doesn't. So now the audience has this next level of information about this character development, that there's a potential, there was at one point in time, a potential for him to be more human. And we, the audience, then feel robbed, and we begin to, or I guess I should say we continue to not enjoy Lore very much for many reasons.
Little bastard.
But yeah.
But it is interesting, like the corner that they could have taken. What if Data did get the emotion chip, and how much would that have changed the remaining seasons of TNG with him battling emotions?
I thought that when the emotion chip went inside, that it was Data, like a dummy. And when he starts singing like a sea shanty or something, and I was like, oh no, they messed my favorite character up.
No, don't make him happy and sing-songy.
I don't like this. Well, he was like snarky and such.
You think?
He was so sassy.
Super sassy.
I don't need more sass in my life. I've got plenty.
I do love, like, when Lore beams out, the echoey singing that happens as he beams back to the. Oh, it's so creepy.
So creepy.
It's so good.
There
I
was
do
also-
love that this.
what?
No, go on. Do it. I just love that the episode ends with Lore like out in the open. So there's no, oh, he's been dead, he's vaporized or whatever.
No.
We know that he's out there
He just
somewhere.
pieces out.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. It also ends with Data. I think like maybe one of the things I love about the Vulcan, like in Strange New Worlds, when we watch that as it comes out, and I'm really enjoying the Vulcan kind of in front of me, because this is the first time I've seen a Vulcan like full time, because I never watched the original series, and I really am not too much into the movies. So seeing the Vulcan like on screen all the time is sort of computer-esque in an emotionless way or whatever. So it's interesting. I'm really drawn to that character, and I'm really drawn to Data as well. We can dig into my emotional issues as much as you want.
Let's do that live on stream. Let's do that.
Okay.
Why do you think that is, Danae?
Yeah, the live chat will be asking lots of questions. We'll pin them for the after show.
Oh, and joining us is Councillor Albie. He's going to be joining us for some therapy.
Oh, that'd be so cool. But at the end of this episode, Data says goodbye to Dr. Soong, because Dr. Soong is just, of course, he's dying this episode, and we're all thankful for it because his prosthetics are so distracting.
Oh, come on.
No, it was very emotional, or at least intended to be, but my computer Vulcan-like self, I was just watching it to watch it. But it was really interesting to watch Data say, I can't grieve for you. And just gonna sit there and think about it. And I'm looking at Brent's face as he's pure android and calculating his responses instead of feeling his responses. And Brent Spiner is just incredible. This is an incredible episode. If you every time someone's on screen, you know who it is, even though it's all the same actor. And I don't know, it was just a really fantastic episode. But I really enjoyed that part of him processing in Data's way the loss of Dr. Soong.
I mean, on the processing side, just him repeating, I am not less perfect than Lore. Just getting into like his own little feedback loop.
Right.
It's like that's such a huge point, because what?
It's like people who like repeat affirmations in the mirror in the
Yes.
morning.
You are a strong and powerful man. You can do this. You're gonna kick some ass. It's just great because ever since, like, Data has lived with the lie that Law said, which was that Data was created to be a dumber version of Law to make the colonists feel better. And then to get that affirmation from your father that no, you were just made differently because the first android was fucking scary and you were just made different, like that's huge. It's like, no, it wasn't what he thought. It must be so validating. And like I wouldn't have even thought to put that into this episode. It's such a great callback.
But is Data the validating kind of character, or is it just more data that he's trying to put into his sequence of what he processes?
Because that comes down to emotions, doesn't it? Like he shouldn't feel hurt by it.
No,
it's just
and he's
fact.
not. But the thing that bothers me, and maybe this will transition us towards the sins at some point, is like Data almost naively accepts lore so quickly. Like he's like, "Oh, you were lying," and I'm like, "Fucking duh, Data." Like, how is that not part of your process and everything that comes out of your brother's mouth? But he does redeem it by saying, I don't quite believe you. So
yeah.
I think that him repeating that is more like him trying to undo code and like reinsert code that's new, because he was sort of defining his hierarchy.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
What Lore said. Yeah. I don't know.
Just kind of reassessing his place in the universe. But it's funny how like I anthropomorphize that and make it an emotional thing when you're right. He shouldn't be hurt by that. Maybe it is still like a self-value thing of, well, I should stop striving to be human because I was deliberately made to not be, and maybe he can like reset and refocus his efforts now. But no, it's such a complex thought experiment. I love it so much.
It is. This is definitely one true to a lot of the episodes for TNG that I would watch many times, because even the stuff that sort of bothered me a little bit, prosthetics, I can look past and enjoy, like you said, the philosophical conversation, and also do a little bit more like Dr. Soong research and like really like compare it to the Picard knowledge that I have. And
yeah, that's interesting. Did it fit in?
I think because I watched Picard and now I'm watching this and I'm like,
what's going on?
I can't remember the timeline, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Well, Picard is 30 years after this.
Right.
I think. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then so it's a descendant of Dr. Soong who is continuing his work, essentially.
Yeah, it's his son. Yeah, but we don't know that he has a son at this point.
Okay.
We didn't know he had any children at all.
Okay.
Something like that. Or a nephew. It's somebody played by Brent Spiner that looks oddly like Data and Dr. Soong.
But can we talk about the sins of this episode? Actually, you know what? No. I'm gonna go through my notes, and I'm gonna just make sure that when we transition to sins, I don't do the thing that you hate that I do, which is like, I remember.
Oh, can I just watch something that I like? No. I have. This is another one on how great an actor Brent Spiner is, and I can't put my finger on exactly how he does it, but it's the dead-eye stare when Data's programming like gets taken over by the homing device. It's almost like he's looking just above the camera or just to the side of the camera, but you can immediately tell that Data is gone. Like he's vacant and something else is taken over.
Oh yeah, in the lift.
In the lift, and then when he's doing like the computer code as well, and it's just this dead-eye stare of create cascade hologram program, force field program, and just like divert all of the power systems to the bridge, and then lock out Captain Picard, and everything is so like matter of fact, and it's so good. It's such a subtle change to how Data usually speaks. I love Brent Spiner. He's so good.
So freaking good.
Go on, give me. What else have you got?
I have to read my notes, so this is a good. Okay, well then I won't read my notes, and we'll
read
just
your notes.
Nope, it's too late. Yeah, this is a great episode, and I'll just pretend like I covered all the things I liked about this episode because Captain is being a dick.
Yes, he is.
Do you want me to read my notes or not? I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I want you to read your notes.
Okay.
I want to hear what you love before you pull apart this episode.
Okay, well, on that point, this is a good kind of halfway point with the editing. So, hi, chat. There was a question I wanted to, while we're taking this editing break, I wanted to address Hodgepodge real quick because you've got a great question and I want to kind of point out because it is a little confusing. So we're recording a live podcast. So when we start the official show, we try not to read the chat and address the chat because it requires a lot more editing on the end. So what we do is we'll like put up comments on the screen that are kind of fun for us to just sort of like leaf through. And then we pin some other ones as well so that we can kind of go back and even discuss them in more detail after our official recording is over. So like right this second, because I'm going to go back and read my notes, this is a good editing point. So this is just all behind the scenes stuff. So then when we edit this show later on, we'll just chop all this stuff out and it won't go into the final product. But it'll exist here on Twitch forever and well, not forever and ever. It'll exist
forever and 2 weeks.
Forever and ever and 2 weeks only.
We do like to make Ian's job as easy as possible because he's so lazy. So lazy.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, give me the final things that you love about the episode.
I haven't read my notes.
My God, it's been an hour. Oh, she's gone. Okay, well, I'm just going to carry on talking about how amazing Picard is in this episode. And just his little, like, he's so pissed off all of the time. And just when he looks...
so mad.
Like, when he the saucer separation thing has been cancelled, and he just looks up from the control panel and just, like, death stare into the camera.
My freaking ship.
See if the computer would be kind enough to give us the correct setting to stun Data.
I swear, though, that's the biggest sin of this episode. We don't address this massive problem on screen.
Are we doing the sins yet?
No! Yes.
Yes?
Hi. Welcome to my space. Completely my own. Right now, I should be reading my notes, but Ian left me in charge. So it's just you beautiful viewer, and me and my dogs who are sleeping. Want me to wake them up? Okay. Guppers! That did not work. Oh, hi! You're back. Oh!
Don't give me the buttons.
I'm the captain now. That's exactly right. That is
I do love how we just confuse Nick so much.
Oh, that's really weird. Really? That's so weird.
I imagine it's because one of us left.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, please read this while I quickly glance at my notes.
Okay. MySpace, formerly stylized as MySpace, is a social networking service based in the United States. Launched on October 1st, 2003, the site was the first social network to reach a global audience and had significant influence on technology, pop culture, and music. The site played a critical role in the early growth of companies like YouTube and created a developer platform that launched the success of Zynga, RockQ, PhotoBucket, among others. Thank you.
All right, I'm ready to go back in, I think.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, sorry.
Okay, give us your final good thoughts before we start sending some shit.
Well, I did really like the scene when Data is on the bridge and he's blocking everybody, and we have like a subterfuge situation going back and forth, and he puts Picard on mute. I love that so much. I don't know why, because no one puts Picard on mute.
Data does.
But also, we get to see this really cool editing situation where Picard's voice is coming out of Data's mouth. Don't
they do an incredible job of that?
It was so good.
So good. That's usually a bit hammy, but they did a great job.
And they even do it again closer up. So they had to get the cadence just perfect. And I don't know how many times they had to practice that, but they did such a good job. And it reminds me a bit of our outtakes for CinemaSins. Like we try to line up something else coming out of someone else's mouth and kind of mash things up. It's like the most serious outtake level that you can get to is that.
It was so even his little head twitches as it looks like Data's trying to do a British accent just based on his like head twitching.
And the cascade force field sequence.
How good was that? That's how
was
you use force
cool.
fields. Like I love that.
Fucking cool.
So there's another episode we watched while you were visiting called oh dang it. The Hunted. And
guys, did you know that there was an episode called Wow Dang It? I didn't.
And this is when the super soldier gets tries to elude the Enterprise and then escapes from the transporter beam and then runs through the ship and doing like little traps and stuff and tries to die hard his way off of the ship. Like I love seeing this. Like, how can I use the Enterprise to help me escape? And how can I like trap people? And it's some of my favorite episodes are doing that stuff. And Data is just, he's so clever. And they use his knowledge so well in this.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Like what you were saying with the password thing, you know, I'll hit that again because that was so. Not only was it entertaining because it kept going on.
It was so long. It was so long. Like that is exactly how long you'd make it.
But part of me believes that in the past there is some Star Trek nerd that actually made that their password. You know what I mean? Like that's next level.
It's incredible. It's so good. Right, is that it? Can we start sinning? I know you're ready for it. It was at this point.
I'm trying to do a good thing and make sure that I've got through my notes. Isn't this what you want? A thorough conversation about
praising
TNG Star Trek?
Yeah.
Captain? Aren't you glad that I'm doing my job?
Red alert.
Sir?
Red alert.
The problem is that I was writing a lot of what they said down so that I could like kind of process it. So I have
the Technobabble?
I have written out. No, I can't write the Technobabble fast enough, unfortunately.
Don't bother with that. The actors couldn't remember that stuff.
No, it was like the conversation with Dr. Soong and Data, and I'm just like I'm writing it as fast as I possibly can. Like the whole conversation, like, why did you create me? And then why is this household? And then humans have to live in continuity to give them purpose. And I wrote down parts of that entire exchange. So I'm having to now read through it and realize I didn't have a thought about it. I just wrote it all down.
He's given a ton of examples of why, like asking why he created Data is like, well, why do people have children? And why do we do anything?
Selfish?
Because we're here. Yes, that is the number one reason to have kids, because we're selfish.
I like that Data said humans need continuity to give them purpose. I think I'm going to have to think about that for a while. This episode made me think, what is my purpose in life? Like, what am I doing with my life? And am I doing what I should be doing? And why do I suddenly want to have these deep thoughts after watching this episode? So, yay. I think that's probably a plus.
Climb mountains, why do anything? Hopefully it's to create joy, hopefully make something worthwhile. It's tricky because we didn't ask to be here, and yet we are, and here we are doing things. Just got way deeper than we ever thought it would.
Well, I mean, I think also this is the first time I've seen a quarantine on the show, so I guess I should just briefly say that was interesting to see like the little quarantine setup.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen from time to time. Fucking Willie Potts.
You hate that kid so much.
It was really the only reason that there was a ticking time.
You need,
on this one, you know,
for some reason you need that. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no urgency to. I mean, you would think that wanting to get the ship back is enough of a reason to have a time crunch on it. You didn't need the Willie Potts thing, other than the brothers parallel, because brothers are going to be brothers.
Let's just move on to the sins, and can I just start us off, please, and talk about this prosthetic issue that I had?
You can. Let me do the intro first.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
I'll make a little red
God
alert.
damn
Red
it.
alert! What is it? Red
Okay.
alert! Red alert! Hold on, I gotta add the banner. Hold on a second.
Are you happy? Have you said everything good that
I
you want
did
to
it.
say?
Look, I did
You
it.
did the thing. With that, it's time to head to engineering for this instance is futile. Battle stations, everyone. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sim brains and remind ourselves that no TV show is with
It's not without sin, okay? Okay, we like it. We love Star Trek, but it's not without sin. Did I do good?
This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sim brains and remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. Go on, Danae. Tell us about the rubbish prosthetics.
Listen, I don't mind that old people look
Exist?
like old people or exist.
Wow. Wow. Define old. Tell me exactly what age you're thinking.
I didn't say that. You said that, not me.
You didn't tell me no.
No, I was so distracted by the double lip situation.
Oh, okay. I did notice that. That's pretty. It's like Worf's. Have you ever seen Worf's double nose?
No.
Where I'm going to ruin it for you. So when you see a close up of Worf,
don't ruin
just
Worf.
above the nostrils, you can see where his prosthetic joins his actual nose, and you can see it. Yeah, that'll ruin Worf for you. Sorry.
So this one had the double lip prosthetic situation going on, and because we had so many close-ups of Dr. Soong, it was
TV loves
all
close-ups.
I could look at. This is me. I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm free typing, just mindless. Whatever they said, I'm just typing. But all I'm staring at is the double lip the whole time. I just think that there's a better way. Maybe did they not have the ability to blend it into his actual lip? Why does Dr. Soong have to have like a weird lip thing going on? I don't know.
Sometimes it happens with age. Your skin doesn't do things anymore, and it loses some of its elasticity.
Have you ever seen an old person with two upper lips?
Yes, I have in season 4, episode 3 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Come on, it happened.
Oh my god!
I actually got Brent Spiner's grandfather to come in and to play that part. There were no prosthetics.
God, it was so distracting. I couldn't take it seriously, and also he had the most disgusting dental situation going on. Like
because he's old.
I get it. Our teeth do funky shit as we get older. They get different colors. They smell, I guess, which is probably more of our gums than it is our teeth, technically. But Dr. Soong's teeth, his actual teeth, must have smelled like a garbage dump because they packed on. They did the thing where they were just like, this person woke up this morning and ate 3 egg sandwiches on really soft white bread and then didn't brush they just mashed it into their teeth and didn't brush, didn't pick it out, not bothering with any of that stuff. And we're going to then drank some tea to turn it sort of a brown color, and then like just went in for some funky fucking cheese, and then we're gonna zoom in slowly to the teeth area with a double lip and teeth that are designed in a garbage dump. And that's what I had to look at. So it was difficult for me to enjoy the philosophical conversation happening on screen when I was absolutely disgusted by the old man. And that is my sin. That's one of my sins for this episode that I would probably not be able to let down. I couldn't let it go.
There is teeth talk with Danae Hughes. Should you wish to hear any more, she will now have a weekly orthodontics.
It doesn't matter how old he is. This is the future where we could just walk into sonic showers and shit.
Yeah, but he's been living on a planet on his own, just trying to build robots and shit.
Okay, I got more sins here.
Do it.
Where is he living? On some random ass planet? Why does the random ass planet have a miniature Triceratops skeleton and like an antique store? And like, I get it, because they talk about why do we collect things from the past, and it's sort of, the set is designed to echo that question. But where did he get all this stuff? Home? Where's home? Earth?
This planet. No, he's making it home. He's been there for like 27 years or something. He's just making it homely and shit.
Where there's tiny triceratops just walking around?
Yeah, why not? Look in your office, Danae, right now. How much random shit is in your office? Just on screen at the minute.
I mean,
you have 2 dogs.
Okay, but they're not skeletonized and put up on a shelf.
You have a tiny toy guitar that hasn't even been taken out of its box in the back corner.
What, okay, fine, and sure, maybe they're replicated, but why? Why are we replicating these things? Why is he I just didn't understand it. It looked like it looks like he was in a very confused state.
Yeah, he's old. His teeth are falling out.
Okay, I get it. All right, that's just my fucking observation.
Yeah, but no, it is the stereotypical mad scientist lab must have arbitrary skeleton in the corner, and it needed some lava lamps and some like smoke machines and stuff, but it was the quintessential crazy lab situation.
But it wasn't just a lab; it was like a lab mixed with an antique store. Yes. From Earth 1980 or something.
Just expecting like some travelers to like pop in and just like, oh, this is nice. We were just seeing the local museums and just found this place. Can we buy everything here? There
was even this strange, like, I don't even know what it was. It was like a long stick that was actually a light. I don't know. It's definitely an episode that if we were actually going to sin it for TV sins, then I would stop and just devour everything in the background and try to figure out what was going on back there.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Well, can I do a sin now?
No. Yes.
Okay. Cool. We are just going to talk about Data being OP and how this should have ended his career in Starfleet. I can't believe that they know that he can do this stuff, and yet he still is he's in a command position and he's on the flagship, and they are just not prepared for this. They're not prepared for Data to impersonate everybody, lock out the computer, end life support. What if he'd kidnapped the ship and just destroyed Earth and just destroyed Mars or something? Like, they're not ready for all of the shit that Data can do. They aren't prepared. And we still don't know if they've stopped any of this from being able to happen again. It is absolutely wild that Data can do all of this stuff.
It's a serious issue. This is like
super serious.
The biggest security breach I've ever seen on TNG. And as you guys know, I know everything about Star Trek. So,
because you think like even Data would like consensually say, "Yeah, I'm gonna like create some protocols where we aren't gonna do this," because he is a good guy. Like, he should voluntarily say, I've just realized there's some shit I can do, guys. You need to make sure I don't ever do this.
Yeah, this is bad. Like, and to that point, there's even mention, of like the off switch that he has. Like, I'm sure he has an off switch, but it came into play last episode and it was supposed to be a secret. But then Riker uses it this episode to turn him on, and I'm like, did they just have a meeting about that after last?
Oh no! When Lore took the place of Data, he did tell everybody about the off switch.
Okay.
Because he explained that that's how he deactivated
Lore.
Okay. Data.
So I would receive that comment on my sin script, and I would volley back with, "Okay, but."
Yes.
The next sin of that moment is, how are they finding Data? So Lord, he takes Data out, sticks him in a closet, puts his own clothes back on him. I mean, I guess thanks for that, but puts the Lore clothes on Data.
Yes, instead of leaving him naked.
They have no idea that that's actually Data.
Well, they don't know that Lore is there.
They don't know anything, and they just turn him back on, like, "Hey, Data." Like, you didn't know that was Data.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm glad this isn't another robot that Sung has created. I guess maybe like there's like a lot of kind of supposition with, we know that Data beamed down to the planet, therefore we're going to assume that this android is our Data. But yeah, you're right. I don't just turn on the random android, because somebody turned him off, and not many people should know how to do that.
No, it just seems like, oh, it's right here, just right under the rib.
Yeah,
we're gonna just quickly turn him back on, and then be like, "Hey, Data." Nope, So that
Nope.
was my sin for that moment.
That's fair enough.
Mhm,
Fair enough.
mhm.
I don't know if this is a sin, but it's almost a missed
Is it Willie
opportunity.
Potts? Because then it is. Sorry.
There is
Sorry.
nothing wrong
I'm
with
sorry.
Willie Potts.
I'm sorry. No, he's fine.
He's a good person.
Willie Potts is fine. He's fine.
He's just a little bit of a brat, but hey, that happens.
He's a kid. Ding.
So yeah, sorry. My next sin was and it's just a thought experiment. There's almost a missed opportunity here. What if all of this time it had been Law on the Enterprise
Oh,
and
that
they
would have been
beamed
so cool.
Data into space and they just didn't realize it until now? I don't, because this is like 2 years after that episode. It would have done so much damage to Data and the plot and what we know and stuff, and it would have been a bit too wild. But I kind of imagine if TNG had come out today, they might pull something like that, and that you've been with Law this whole time and he's been like sowing seeds of discontent. And yeah, just I think they would have played into it a lot more. But how dark would that be?
It would have been
I
amazing.
kind of love it.
And scary too,
Yeah, completely.
There's so much about Data that's scary this time. Like, he doesn't even remember how he got there until Dr. Soong explains it to him. Dr. Soong, whose body is failing him, who may have died at any point in time, not been able to insert this emotion chip, not been able to tell Data how to reaccess his own mind, which wouldn't have given them the bridge back. So they would have been completely fucked. Like, there's so much about this that had to like all come together, which of course we would have really enjoyed sinning, I am sure.
It's in it.
Yes. I want to send Riker in the fatherly position, by the way. As a person who has a child now, I don't know that if I was on the Enterprise, that anyone who has a child can just be like, you know what? Second in command of this massive ship, you watch my kid while I go on vacation. There are so many other options other than the first officer. How does somebody just skip over all of their friends, all of their comrades, maybe even people who are like there to help watch children, and get Riker? Not that he's ill-equipped, but he's a busy man. How are we having Riker watch children?
It's a crew of 1,000 people.
There's
like,
so many people.
The only thing I can remember is that in episode 1, Picard is like, Riker, the Enterprise has been given to me with kids. I don't agree with this. It is your responsibility to make sure I don't make an ass of myself in front of children. So he is kind of given responsibility of the children on the ship, but it's batshit that he is specifically the caretaker of these two random kids.
Insane. And the way that he deals with their like being in trouble, I mean, it's not, it works, but it's terrifying when you watch it from a child's perspective, because he basically gives him the debrief as if he's an officer on a starship,
right?
Instead
like,
of an 8-year-old. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in 10 forward? You had to go through the bridge to get to, not 10 forward, the observation lounge. And it is just intimidating as fuck.
It's intimidating as fuck. Right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was a wild one.
That you nearly killed your brother.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Take this kid. He says, take this kid to the quarantine anti room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, can you imagine being a kid being like, I don't want to die.
I don't want to go.
And there is such a casualness with like all the children stuff, because like later on, when they're all debriefing about their situation, Beverly, she says something like in the most casual way. She's like, yeah, and if we don't get poor Willie Potts somewhere, he's going to be a post-mortem conversation. There's like, it was so casual. Like, shit, Doc, you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot.
You've seen
Too much
shit.
Jesus.
That is amazing. So her bedside manners leave something to be desired.
Yeah, another sin would just be her joke, right? Like, she starts to tell that joke.
Goodness.
She's like, did you hear there's this kid? There's a child who's probably like 7 years old that's straight up dying and really scared and mad at his brother. And she's like, he's like, I'm losing a feeling in my legs and I'm getting dizzy. And she's like, hey kid, did you hear the one about the guy who just like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey, guess what? Don't use your legs. Does that hurt? Don't use them ever again. What do you mean? don't use my legs.
Oh my God. I was like, what am I
Yeah.
watching right now? Whoo. Anyway.
Gates was not given the best stuff to do. Bless her. This is one of my favorite. Riker can be a dumbass and a bit of a bimbo without realizing sometimes. And it's when he says the only way that we realized we dropped out of warp was by looking out the window. He says while standing next to the warp core. Because
I
the
missed
thing
that.
goes vroom, 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 whenever they're at warp. And when they're not at warp, the thing turns off. I was like, you have to look out a window when the fucking warp core is in front of you, like 10 feet away. You're in engineering, and nothing in there told you that the warp core had been turned off. Like, it's just so funny. He's staring at it. You didn't need to look out a window. But maybe he's exaggerating, but it's really funny to me that the warp core is sat there like, am I a joke to you? Like, did I not tell you I'd stopped?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another one for me is the moment when they're trying to get Data. So Data's gone like he's just gone crazy, and he's still on the ship, and he's trying to get off the ship, and he's like not the Data we know. He's just an autopilot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are several times when he could have just been phasered from a distance, but no, because the cool force field cascade was working. But there was this moment when they were in the room where they're going to beam. What's that room called? The transporter room. Ha!
Transporter
I got
room.
there before you.
You nailed it. There you do. You beat me. You beat me to the question that you asked.
Oh, okay. And then O'Brien says something like they go to shoot him. They go to shoot Data, and O'Brien stops them and says, "I wouldn't advise that, sir. The something coils don't take well to phaser ricochet," or something to the effect of that.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought, but why are you telling the crazy android that? Like, you've just given him something he can do to further cause damage. Like, you said the quiet part out loud.
Yes,
So,
exactly. You should have probably whispered that in Riker's ear. But also,
don't shoot.
How does Riker not know that already? How do you get to be the first officer on... I mean, obviously that line is for the audience, fine, but it's definitely something that Riker should know.
It was, there's so many things that happened that I was like, how do you guys not know this? But at the same time, that there was...
This is your job.
The mystery of that was really good. But we're not talking about the good parts anymore, because if we were talking about the good parts, I would have remembered something else that I really liked that I forgot to tell you about. But I did...
Permission granted. You can do it.
Lore just like throwing his little tantrums around Dr. Soong's place, just smacking stuff as he went. It was so fun to watch.
And I do know, I am not as perfect in law.
Anyway.
So good. Brent Spiner, he is the best. I think it's absolutely insane that a ship just bumped into Lore as he's floating through space. Like, Data even specifies he's floating through interstellar space, which means the space between solar systems. How do you just bump into a ship? It's insane.
It's like one of those things where, as people on planet Earth, you'll see things like stories where one kid went to Disney when he was 5, took a picture with his family, and then grows up, marries somebody, and they're going through their pictures together now that they're married, and she sees this picture and she's like, that's me in the background. And they realize that they were like within 15 feet of each other when they were both like 5 years old. And they're in a family picture together in this random sequence of events. We know from experience that the craziest shit happens, but we're contained on Earth.
Yes.
We only have so many places to
go. One planet, that's it. The entire galaxy, and a ship bumps into it. It's just
stupid.
It's so dumb. It's amazing. Anything else, Ambassador?
Did I talk about the teeth yet?
Yeah. No, you didn't. You didn't mention that, not once.
Oh, okay. Okay. I do wanna say it was really, I didn't mind seeing Lore stop at the door when Dr. Soong says he's dying. And I didn't mind like the seemingly genuine concern and care and emotion that Lore was showing, because he is kind of like more human-esque in that way.
Mm.
But I did mind that he was surprised that his very, 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 very old person, human father was dying. Like it seems he's like, you're not dying. It's like he's 100 or whatever. Like,
yeah, he's a bajillion years old.
He is. This is like, if this was an outtake, it's Princess Bride level. You know, it's the old man in the castle, whatever that guy's name was, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is that. He's old. You should not be surprised. You should be like, oh, yeah, it makes sense you're dying because you're an old man.
I wonder if some of it was denial, like just hoping he wasn't dead. But he then does switch to unhinged, I'm going to kill you very quickly. And I know that's partly because of like the computer
the writing
chip,
or whatever.
Well, it's mainly the chip is like fried his circuits and made him even more murdery. But I love how like the computer chip going wrong or the emotion chip going wrong just makes him more evil instead of like shutting down his systems and frying his circuits. It's a very specific fault that it's created in him. Amazing. Anything else?
Let me look. Have I talked about the lips yet? The double lip situation?
No, you didn't mention that. No.
Okay. Have we talked about Willie Potts?
No, yeah. We did mention that you hate kids. Yeah. And old people. You've covered everything.
Okay.
Anything to say about any other age of person?
Am I ageist? What?
Huh?
Do you think it was sinful that Lore was disassembled and then reassembled, but still somehow has this homing beacon that was activated for Data, but it also activated Lore? Is that sinful, or does that make sense to you?
No, it is strange that this is just a blanket homing signal that attracts both of them. Like,
okay, because they're identical except for programming.
But they're not. Yeah, well, yeah. Programming is the only difference between them. There's nothing else. But it is still strange that the homing device. Well, it's convenient that it works on both of them. Like you would think it would specify Data and Lore because it's needlessly tying your hands that, hey, I only want one of these, especially when you know Lore is fucked up. Like, he's not the kind of android you want to bring to you, or you want to be able to choose not to.
Okay, all right, I'll let that one go.
Yeah, yeah.
But I definitely would send the convenient timing that the old man needs a nap before inserting the chip.
Yeah, just to give Lore exactly enough time to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and the fact that Data didn't... they end on a commercial break of tension where Lore and Data are looking back and forth like, okay, now that Daddy's out of the room, are we going to beat the shit out of each other kind of a thing?
Yeah.
You know?
But
the thing that bothers me is that Dr. Soong literally says the procedure is quite simple, but then he's like, but I need a nap.
I'll do it later.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of bothers me, though.
Got a drama.
Yeah.
My biggest one is that he just didn't need to die, really. Like, there's no need, other than we don't want to deal with him. Just beam him up. Like, they shouldn't even accept that. I guess if somebody wants to die in their living room, that's where you let them die. But he had so much more work to do. He's obviously working on something.
Yeah.
It does seem strange.
I feel like I want to send this. Dr. Soong says something about like, feelings are funny things, and you may even learn to understand your evil brother and forgive him. But to me, it's like forgiveness is sort of like an emotional thing. And Data isn't. He's just not driven by that.
Forgiveness can be factual because it's like until you forgive somebody, that has like consequences, doesn't it? So you have done this evil thing, and therefore I will not trust you. And then maybe to Data, forgiveness is giving him another chance and seeing if they can interact. Because if he resigns himself to the fact that Lore is evil, he can't have a relationship with him, and it's all about just dismantling him and putting him in a box. But if he can forgive his sins, then they can find a way to work together. On a practical level, I think that's what it would mean for Data. But yeah, for us, forgiveness is very emotional.
Yeah, I guess I can see your point.
Yeah, I mean, what bugs me is Data just like when Deanna says that it's about you forgive your family or whatever, or Beverly says you forgive your family.
Yeah,
It's the little
yeah.
smile that Data gives. I was like, no, he just killed your dad.
I
Don't
know.
smile so quickly.
That is one of my probably my biggest sin, besides the lip prosthetic, is she says they're brothers, brothers forgive Data. And I don't,
Data.
there are some things that you don't look past. And an android that is so ambitious that he murders people is not something that you take lightly. But they're building in a story arc, and I know what they're doing. But statements like that sometimes really bother me because I feel like there's just this sort of like story pressure to forgive people. But in real life, you really have to weigh what it means to like go through the process of welcoming. I guess there's a difference between forgiving and welcoming someone back into your life. So, but there is this kind of story pressure that you're supposed to forgive, and that's a very personal process. And there's certain people and certain things that you just kind of don't. I don't know. Dr. Soong was super casual. He's like, "Yeah, I'll get to you later. You weren't a priority to me, so I disassembled you and stuck you over there because you weren't working well." So it's not like we should be seeing Lore as a person necessarily, but maybe that's the point of the show, is that androids are living creatures and they have choice. So I don't know. There's something to unpack there.
When we choose something to be sentient and suddenly it's inconvenient that Lore is troublesome and is dangerous, so we'll just turn him off and deal with that later. And it's that tricky line of artificial life, and you can't do that with, well, I guess we do. We put people in prison until they're fixed. But it's when it's a robot, it's suddenly okay to just leave them switched off.
And they also did this thing in story where they remove so quickly things I think are necessary for the forgiveness process in a way. Like, for example, Dr. Soong, in my opinion, did not have to die this episode. That's just pressure on the story to like end the chance of Data getting this chip, this emotion chip or whatever. Because he's an old man and he's fragile, but you got a ship. Just beam the dude up there, put him in stasis for a hot minute. And Geordi, he even goes in, he's like, this is Dr. Soong, just by looking at his liver spots. So he's clearly an important figure, you know.
Especially 2 years ago when they went to Data's planet, they were like, you don't mean Dr. Noonien Soong, do you? He disappeared. And then suddenly they all know what he looks like.
Yeah, it was there's so much I feel like they could have done, but a lot of times writers will just be like, we don't really want to keep the storyline open. We need it to end. And they'll like forcefully move towards an end. I don't know, but it's okay. It's okay. At least we have Willie Potts.
Oh, for God's sake! Any more sins? I'm done.
No.
You happy?
I have one more.
Do it. It's better not be a good thing.
That goddamn thumb peel back. Okay, listen.
Oh, it triggers me so much.
It is
I
so
hate
disgusting.
it. It's gonna peel my nail off.
It's so good because it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm gonna sin it. I would sin the shit out of that thumbnail peel back.
No,
That's so
we never
gross.
need to see that.
Don't
it's like
do it.
vomiting. We never need to see it. We really don't.
We don't need to see it.
Oh, it's so gross. Right. Well, I love that episode. It's got, like I said, it's got one of my favorite openings. It's all of the drama. It's Data kicking ass. Like, I want him to be more serious, like less of the comic relief sometimes, and just like when he suddenly goes like just full on militant, it's so scary. It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, that is continued your Data / Lore / AI / Dr. Soong education. And next week, everybody, we will be talking about Descent Part 1. So this is the season finale to season 6 of The Next Generation. I think we're going to do Descent Part 1 and then Descent Part 2. I was tempted to do both parts in one episode, but that's an hour and a half. That would basically be reviewing a movie. So I think we're going to break it down and keep it into its 2 separate parts and see how it works as a 2-parter as well. So your homework for next week is to watch Descent Part 1. Any final thoughts, Ambassador?
No.
Smashing. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. It's Computer. Shut down the Synterprise from me. Authorization code 1734673214776 Charlie 32789777643 Tango 732 Victor 73117888732476789764376 lock.
I went off the ship, so it's initiate cascade force field sequence for me.
Amazing, and live long and prosper. I was waiting for you to do the same thing.
You actually wrote it down? Hi, chat. We're back. We're back.
We're back, chat. Yeah, no, I wrote it.
My
I pulled up the script online. It's so good. Like, they just kind of got the cadence really, really, really great. It's so good.
Holy shit, that was intense.
Oh man, Charlie 32789777643 Tango 732 Victor 73. It's so good. Like, just his little twitches, and he had that shit memorized.
He wrote it down. He wrote it down.
He must have written it down. But they do like a really quick shot on the comm panel, and it's exactly the right. They went to the effort and actually typed out the same shit.
So good.
So good. And I did look up. It would take a PC a desktop PC from today 6 vigintillion years to crack that code through sheer brute force.
Jesus.
Longer than the universe has existed.
Well,
in order to get the right combination.
Then what we would absolutely send that. Like, the convenience of that episode wrapping up so that he could get back on the ship is just insane.
It's insane.
It's a great episode, but it's insane.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. I love it so much. And one day I will memorize that code. Oh man, so good.
Okay, so we are going
Question
to
time.
Go through. Yeah, you guys can put anything in. Hi, hello, Psycho Grim. We are in the roll credits section of the program, but first we like to come to you guys, and we're gonna go back through some of the comments that we just pinned to talk about for later, and have a chance to chat with you guys a little bit before we wrap up today's episode fully. Thank you so much for the biddies. And thanks to Link for resubscribing with your Prime subscription. It's kind of hard to believe that we've only been on Twitch as a group for 2 months. So it's kind of wild that it's already been 2 months though. So thank you for the bits.
It's really, really cool.
Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and thank you everybody following us. We're just about to hit 1,500 followers, which is really, really cool. That's amazing.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super duper fun.
Okay, so here's a question. I have a question, says Jagged. Why is no one concerned about Data's power even after it is abused? That was my question.
Yeah, exactly. They should be. Should be.
It's got to be because it would have just taken an entire another episode to address the problems at hand, because it brings up so many concerns about the security breach and Data's abilities, and how did they fix the programming? How did they make sure that the computer doesn't do the things that Data told it to do? Because it's like they went through the rule book and they systematically addressed every single security protocol, and they put Data in the right position to just eliminate it. It was awesome to watch, but Jesus.
It's like just all it takes is a flick of a switch and he can break everything. And I think the real answer is that it's too fun, because this is not the last time that Data will abuse or Data will be forced to abuse his androidness in order to subvert everything.
Psycho, wait, what movie are y'all talking about? It's a really great
I can see why you're confused.
We are right now doing a podcast. So the CinemaSins staff, our team, we have a couple of different podcasts that we produce every week in addition to the videos on YouTube. And this podcast is geared towards Star Trek. So we're actually, we've done how many seasons of the show now?
We're in season 6. Yeah.
So we watched Picard, and we've watched Lower Decks. We've watched Strange New Worlds. And while we're waiting for the next Strange New Worlds season to come out, we're going back and watching
Picard season 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Picard season 3 is coming out next. While we're waiting for that to come out, we're going back through some old episodes of Star Trek and watching them and doing little episodes of that. So that's what you're watching right now.
Yeah,
is our little podcast recording, which we just wrapped up the official recording, and now we're addressing chat questions and hanging out for a little bit before we have to go back to work and write some more and make sure that you guys get your videos next week.
Yeah, you do. I mean, fingers crossed next week's videos are done, but you never know.
Y'all should play Late Shift. It's like a very cinnable James Bond movie, but a game. Okay,
That's
I'll
cool.
write that down.
We are definitely up for game suggestions. Yeah, for sure.
Don't take that down yet.
Oh,
you asshole!
Hang on, it's back. Here we go.
Such an asshole.
Okay. That was
Late
genuinely
Shift.
deliberate. That was just poor timing.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of the suggestion and put it up in our group.
Thanks for
resubscribing. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Aids and JCD. God, you guys.
Nah, screw JCD.
I'm so sorry, JCD. I'm so sorry. Don't believe him.
Should not be surprised.
Guys, okay, if you don't know, we have a good relationship with JCD. We know him in person.
No, we don't.
We're being butts on purpose.
Nah, not at all. I think it proves that the ship could use... Sorry, JCD says, I think it proves that the ship could use like a third of the usual crew. I do wonder that. Like, how much of it can be just voice controls? Most of the crew is there for like battle stations and research and if things go wrong. Like, you need a lot of redundancy and stuff like that. But yeah.
Next question from Hodge is, are your dogs in eternal slumber? Yes.
Easy answer to that one.
They are twin brothers. I actually thought they had the same mom, but different dads. I'm going to take everything down so you can kind of see them. But my vet says that they're actually twins, but he has a darker overcoat and this one just has like the basic color, I guess. But they're twins. They've always been together. They've never been apart from each other. And they just curl up and snuggle. It's adorable.
Constantly. Always snuggling. It's really, really sweet.
Thank you, Slab. Oh, thank you for that.
I overrode you.
Go ahead.
I'm
gonna find somebody to raid. So if you guys have anybody that you want to raid, just let me know. Sweet.
JCD. Oh, that reminds me of a trivia question. Which TOS character, other than the main cast, was the only recurring character in the series? Is it the Yeoman Brand? Yeoman? The blonde Yeoman? Is that the recurring? She was recurring. She may have only been in one season, though. I can't remember. That's the only person I can think of. Oh, or maybe it's the maybe Nurse Chapel. It depends on what you mean by recurring cast member. Anyway, that's my guess. Nurse Chapel or Yeoman Brand is my guess. JCD, you can let me know if we are correct.
You want us to rate our own selves? That'd
let's rate ourselves.
Let's do it.
Nick, something I didn't realize until recently was that Law was wearing a Pack-Led outfit from Samaritan Snare. Yes, I nearly mentioned that. It's a really, really nice touch that he's literally stolen the uniform from one of the, because we've met the Pack-Leds before, he's stolen one of their uniforms and is wearing it. So, like I said, I want to see that episode and see him just like fuck up some Pack-Leds. Yes, I did misspeak, Nick. It is Eric Soon is in Enterprise, and he's like, yeah, he's Sung's great grandfather, and Adam Sung is the one that's in Picard. Nick says, I have a question. What is the point of the quarantine force field if Beverly can just reach in through the force fields? Great point.
I sort of wanted to send that, and then I didn't write it down, and I forgot. You're fucking right. Like, she just reaches her little bare hands in there.
Yeah,
that was confusing.
Great sin. Yeah, it like maybe there's a force field around her hands as well, but she's definitely handling him. It seems like you could do that with robot hands.
Yeah, maybe. Hodge says, I'm editing a video watching your stream. Cool, good luck. I hope it goes well. What are you editing? Is there any actor or actress that you would want to join Star Trek? Ooh. Man. Tom Hanks. Bring him in. Bring him in.
So I think Tom Hanks was going to play a captain in one of the films, I think, but I can't remember. I feel like Oh, I can't remember. I'll need to look that up.
Really?
Yeah, but he was definitely going to play a captain and then got recast for somebody else. Yeah, it would
Okay.
be great. I think my pick would be. So many actors have already been in Star Trek. I think the person from Lord of the Rings, the one that's playing Galadriel, in the Rings of Power, I would love to see her as the captain of a ship. She's so forceful. She'd be a new Janeway. I love it.
When are y'all?
Mm.
Are you just done? Are you done doing the show? Ian, you're being
No,
quiet.
I was waiting on you.
What? When are y'all gonna make anime sins? Great question. We've actually tried to send anime on TV sins, and we sucked at it.
It's not so much that we sucked, it's just the feedback wasn't great. It's one of those things where you need a lot of knowledge, and our sins were largely coming from a place of ignorance by the sounds, by like kind of based on the feedback.
I think so. It's something that we've actually. This is kind of an interesting thing to talk about, and I love your guys' cinema sense questions. Any question goes. You don't have to talk just
Yeah,
about Star
absolutely.
Trek or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys can ask us anything. So the curious part of anything that we decide to sin is always like, it's not like are we qualified, because anybody can have an opinion about anything that we watch, but when it comes to TV sins and we kind of like go into certain genres, we ask ourselves like, how is this for the audience? Are they enjoying it? Or how is it for us, the writers? And anime is a very specific genre, and we often try to pair our scripts where like one person might know a lot or some about the material that we're sending, and then another person, the second person who writes on it, might not know anything, and that kind of gives us a nice balance of sins where there's some of it that's clearly like inside information but written cleverly, hopefully, and then there's some that's just like a genuine question that's a sin coming from the perspective of someone who's completely outside of it, and that's a nice balance. And when it comes to anime, we're really just, all of the writers are just sort of like, I don't have any point of context for this. So I think what ended up happening is when we did that, it just didn't feel like the audience enjoyed it as much as we wanted. And then it also didn't feel like we were really comfortable, because we felt like we were almost doing a disservice, because despite popular belief, we actually really appreciate content. We love movies and TV shows and things like that. So we're trying to make something entertaining and fun and not like horribly demeaning. And maybe we miss the mark sometimes. And on anime, I think we're a little bit worried about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel quite right. We will probably try it again someday when the timing is right, but
yeah,
it's just a genre we're not as comfortable with, I think, is the
that's
easiest
fair.
answer. I hope that kind of gives you, are we uncultured? Maybe.
Yeah, possible.
I mean, yeah.
Something that I am comfortable in answering. The double nose is actually canonical, because Klingons have 2 of every major organ. Every major organ.
So
that was a
great.
dick joke, Renee.
That's great to think about. Thank you for that. I will transition quietly over to Ashley Floof, who says, I absolutely love Cinema Sense. Can't believe you guys do Twitch. We appreciate you being here. We right now have 2 consistent shows here on Twitch, which are podcasts for right now. And then we're going to hopefully find the right rhythm for doing more content. So like one question that I'll have eventually when we kind of get to chatty is, do you guys want to watch me do my role play game here on this channel? Like right now, I role play over on my own Twitch channel, which you can find by doing !DENEE. I role play on a Red Dead Redemption 2 server, so it's like a Wild Wild West role play private server. And I was thinking, like, would you want to watch that over here on this channel ever? So if you have any opinions about that, feel free to share. Well, if y'all do anime, I can recommend some. I watch more anime than anime was made. You're welcome to send any suggestions. If you can send them to me, Danae at cinemasins.com, and I can pass them up the chain because we're not opposed to it. We just want to be careful that everybody's having a really good time. I mean, there's a nice little merger of fan base, like some people who are really passionate about certain shows kind of get our vibe. And so,
it's one of the tricky things about sending Star Trek as well, because like especially on like Star Trek Twitter, there can be this really negative vibe around like people hating new Trek and just being disrespectful and stuff. So it's we kind of don't want to be lumped into that as well, and then we send the stuff that we love as well as the stuff that we think is worthy of critiquing. So it's a
yeah,
fine
like
line.
I am not a House of the Dragon fan. I do not like that show, and I will gladly talk about that. But there's still some things to enjoy about it. It's just like it's easy. That one's an easier one for me to send because I don't like it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the bits. Just one more try. That is
you.
my good friend Joe. We
Oh,
love
thank
Joe.
you.
Joe's
I
the
think Eight's
best.
resubbed too. No, that was earlier.
I already did that, Danae.
God dang, God, fuck.
Next question. Question for after the show from Link. Is there
Did I
we've
one?
already done it. This is the
I
one
did
that
that
you
one.
did.
God.
Gosh dang it. This is the worst. This is absolutely the worst.
I did put a poll up because I have two people that are on right now. One of them is a maker crafter. So when we raid here in a little bit, when the show kind of comes to a close, I want to know if you guys have a preference. Do you want to watch somebody watching or playing Elder Scrolls? Or would you like to go watch some art, like a makers and craft? There's a few makers and crafters that are on right now we could raid into. So just if you haven't already participated in the poll, I put it up so I can kind of get your opinion before I decide who to raid into.
Here's the downside of pinning questions and not dealing with them in the moment. Nick says, did they get sent to that planet from Lower Decks where if you get into when you get into a bad science accident? I have no idea what this is in context.
This is the planet that Dr. Soong was on.
Oh, yes.
The
answer is yes.
Ian, it was the only planet in the episode.
Oh my god, how did you not know that? Oh my gosh.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, another one from Nick Jagged. Here's the biggest sin of the episode. Data, who doesn't trust law at all, is somehow off-screen incapacitated by law, and we were just supposed to accept that. Yeah, like, I don't know how that happened. Like, he would have had to turn his back on law. No one's really damaged, so it doesn't look like there was a kerfuffle, but I guess you can't show the fight without giving away. They want to have the reveal that Sung has put the chip into the wrong android, but I kind of think it would have been cool if we knew as well, and we're like screaming at the TV, stop, that's not Data.
I agree. This is a really sinful part. The fact that Data didn't immediately turn around and just like phaser stun him is surprising, but maybe he didn't bring his phaser.
I know. Well, that was probably deliberate because he was like being hypnotized and whatnot.
Star Trek or Star Wars? I don't like either, but I'm still curious about other options or opinions.
I'm
a Star Trek person, but can I tell you there's a couple of reasons why, but I'll just focus on one. I think the fan base is a lot fun. I'm enjoying the fan base of Star Trek a lot more than Star Wars, and that's I obviously have a very unique job where part of my job is putting out sins videos, like how many people do that, and then seeing the feedback. And Star Trek people, I feel like, are more, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've been burned on a couple Star Wars episodes. And I'm like, guys, you don't have to.
It does seem to be like
threaten my future children because I made a joke. You know what I mean?
Like every fan base has the capacity to do that, but I have noticed the Star Wars fan base is like quite divisive and quite like vehemently like on our back sometimes. But yeah, I love both, but yeah, I am a Star Trek person. Unsurprisingly, I just think there's more to pull from. There's more respect for like the consistent universe and the rules that are put in place and the timeline and stuff. I think a lot more thought and care has gone into creating the Star Trek universe. It's my happy place. These dogs are also my happy place. Look at the eye contact. It's like, get your fucking foot off of my face. I will end you. Don't stretch. Don't you stretch. Oh, stop punching me. Stop punching me in the face.
What is happening right now? They are so funny.
They're the best.
They are the best. I'm a lucky dog owner.
You are. They are the best. Right. What else have
Oh
we?
my God. Yes, Link. I have watched Stargate.
I love
And
Stargate.
I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. There's something
Yeah.
that was fun about future Egyptian kind of vibe. That was kind of
Mm.
cool.
And it
Bye,
kind of knew
Josh.
that it was being by Josh. It was being compared to Star Trek as well, and it kind of laughed at itself for being similar to Star Trek. It's so Stargate is so self-aware. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, there's good chat in here about Star Wars. People are like Apple computer people. They suck to talk about their thing. I would agree with that. And then
Not wrong. Not
Jagged
wrong.
says that's because Disney blew up the damn Star Wars EU. Trek was more respectful of their novel universe. There's just there's a I don't know. I really
The Star
enjoyed getting into
Wars
Trek.
books were incredible. They are really, really good. They're way more consistent.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna view the results of the poll real quick and see where you guys want to
Mm-hmm.
go.
I'll
Oh,
grab
you
the
guys
next
are assholes.
question.
It's 50-50.
Of
God.
course it is. Question from Knife Elmo. You ever want to see another Tribble episode, or is it too perfect to ever mess with again? After the Deep Space Nine revisit of the Trouble with Tribbles, like that's when Tribble should have ended. It's so good. We didn't need them in the Star Trek Into Darkness movie. I think Tribbles have been done. We don't need to see them anymore. Although if they don't appear in Lower Decks, I will be shocked. Like it is Tribbles are prime for Lower Decks ing. So I think they will pop up again. It's possible it could be fun, but I'm not hungry for it.
Yeah, I'd be nervous about it. Here's one. Is anyone else hyper focused on the calendar on Ian's door? It looks like a Teen Tiger Beat kind of thing.
Okay. Somebody did guess what this calendar was as well. They were correct. It's my Doctor Who calendar. However, I'm in the wrong month because I haven't been here for 3 months.
What month is it on?
November. Wait, somebody must have changed it for me.
Did your mom change it when she
My
came to your
mum came in.
house?
So my mum very nicely decorated the house with. She came to visit my house. She has a key and decorated it with a ton of flags to say "Welcome the Americans." Thanks, Mom. So
Thanks,
we will change
Mom.
it to December, which is the
There we go.
lovely.
It's very
pretty
teen. You're
Christmas.
right. You're right about that. Here's one from Sarah Superior who says or asks if you were allowed to be in an episode of any Star Trek series, which would you choose and what character would you be? I would certainly choose Strange New Worlds because that means it'd be happening soon.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
their costume design is something that I would definitely like. Okay, let's just pretend that we're being watched by like some major Star Trek executives right now. Which hi,
Hi guys.
so
Welcome.
just
Welcome to the
I would
show.
like for you to plug your ears for a second. I would steal the clothing. I would steal it.
You're not allowed.
I would break contract like a rebellious person that I am. Okay, now the executives, you can unplug your ears.
Yes.
So I would respect the space very much. And I mean, obviously, I would bring so much to the screen. You guys don't even know. I don't know what kind of character I would play, though. Probably something pretty quirky. Or they would be like, give me the silent role, and I would be just inside some weird space costume in the background in like 10 Forward or something.
Yeah.
So, but I would do anything to be on the Star Trek set.
Oh my goodness, it'd be so great. I think I would love to be the first officer. I'd be like Riker or somebody like that. Like not necessarily like the position of first officer is really great because you still have like the captain to lean on, but you still get to do all of the cool stuff. You get to sit in the big chair, you get to take command every now and again. But it would be like in terms of an actual character, I think it would be Geordie because he's kind of a little bit goofy when it comes to like people, but he's like really analytical and loves solving problems and is always super duper busy and exaggerating how busy he is. So I think I would fit with Geordie's personality type probably the most. What else have
Jagged
we
says
got?
Tom Hanks is the right episode. He was supposed to be the captain of B in Generations.
Yes, he was, and instead it was
Oh.
Alan, whatever his name is, the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But yeah, it was him. That would have been
Okay.
great. Would have been so good.
We've got a couple more comments. Do you want to go? You want to grab those?
Yep.
Yes, Ian decided to wear his captain's jacket, and he's wearing a Picard shirt underneath as well.
I've got the grey Picard undershirt as well with the nice the ribbing going on. It's this really comfy. It's a nice t-shirt. I want Sam Jackson in Tarantino's Shrek movie, don't we all? I mean, that movie definitely isn't happening anymore, but it would be incredible. It would be so good.
Who is the funniest Star Trek character? I think Hemmer was hilarious, personally.
Hemmer's great. Just his deadpan delivery is so good. Love Hemmer. But it's also Worf for me. Just some of his lines, just good tea, nice house. His line delivery is great.
Psycho, if you so if you go to like a podcast player, or you can go to YouTube to our CSPN channel for CinemaSins, it's CinemaSins Podcast Network. If you go back just a few episodes ago, we actually interviewed the person who played Hemmer on Strange New Worlds. So we got to talk to the actor, and he's fantastic. So, that was a really good episode of this podcast if you want to go back.
Yeah, he was so good. It looks like Shax is Nick's favorite. Eject the warp core! I've been so good. Right, what else have we got? Are you guys going to be doing any more games? Definitely. In fact, there is a tentative plan in January to stream potentially The Last of Us.
Yes, we've got to try to figure out the streaming element of it. Yeah. So everybody on staff, we all work, in independent places, and so for us to have one channel and 7 different people, we're working on the back end. But yes, we would like to do more games. In fact, I would love to play some Mario Kart again too, because that was a lot of fun.
Oh man, it was so much fun. Yeah. So much fun.
Yes, and we're kind of getting caught up. So we put out 5 videos a week, 2 podcasts a week. Sometimes even more than that, depending on the week. Plus, we do private stuff for our Patreon fans on Sin Club. So we have an extra video we put out where we call them Cinmentaries, where we go back over our content as the writers and talk about the creation of it. We do a bonus podcast for our Sin Club members. The private stuff that I'm talking about did not sound appropriate. I just want to clarify it's private because there's a paywall. Psycho says, can't wait to see Everything Wrong with Black Adam.
Interesting.
Thanks for being here to watch our live shows, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us and for asking questions and for being a part of this. There was a final vote for watching someone play a game. So we have someone that's doing an interactive game where you guys can play, and we have someone playing Elder Scrolls. Just put in the chat if you have a preference, and I will either send you over to Gregory Peppo, who also is a role player, but right now he's doing like a just chatting stream with about 120 other people. Classy Pax is also live doing Elder Scrolls. He's a fantastic streamer. About 450 people are hanging out in that one. You guys can go to whichever one you want. I'll send you over. You can say hi for CinemaSins. Don't be assholes. Be yourself, but don't intentionally be assholes.
Yeah.
We have a snarky brand as is, so I try to make sure where we go there are snarky people there who can vibe with us. So
I would love to play Satisfactory on stream. It would be great, and I would definitely need some assistance in the chat. But I've been meaning to get into Satisfactory ever since my good friend Joe, Just One More Try, recommended it to me. So yeah, that is definitely on the cards for something I would stream.
Hey, we missed you guys too. Thank you, Slab.
Yeah, love you, Slab.
We worked really hard ahead of time to be able to release stuff on the podcast and take a break live. So
yeah,
we worked really hard to get ahead to be able to do that. But we did miss you guys, and we're glad to be back.
Yeah. There's nothing like doing it live. That's really fun. Thank you for being awesome and being respectful in the chat.
To the game, you want to go to the Elder Scrolls game? Okay, we'll go and we'll raid some Classy. Let me get that set up. And you guys can all pop in.
We will be back next Friday at the same bat time-ish, just after 12 Central, to do Descent Part 1. Love hanging out with you guys. What should I wear next week? We should have done a poll for that. But
join us on Discord. You can give your feedback on that. Here's how to get to Discord. Discord.gg/CinemaSins will get you there. You guys can watch all of our VODs for here. If you want to watch them here, you can go to YouTube and see our edited version of this show.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Thank you for the clips and getting into the rhythm of clips. We'll see you guys in a week. And then I'm going to be role playing either, I think, tomorrow or Saturday, or possibly both. So follow my channel at Danae Says over here on Twitch if you guys want to see me play a very foul-mouthed character named Babs.
Yeah.
Oh god, you fucking asshole! Get your ass over here. I'm really excited to get back into Babs.
I can't
Okay,
wait
so
to
let's
see
go
it.
say hi to Classy. There is probably going to be a little bit of an ad that plays, but he's playing Elder Scrolls, and then of course say hi to Classy, who has agreed to join us for an episode of Captain's Pod. So maybe remind him that we would like to see him live with us sometime soon.
Recommend an episode that you want him to watch as well. He's
Yeah.
never seen Star Trek, so we need to find an appropriate episode to get him into it.
Thanks to the 22 of you guys who are rating in, and have a wonderful time. We'll see you later.
Bye.